There's a certain kind of fear that only happens inside your own home, not outside, not in the dark woods, not in some empty street, inside where you sleep, where you relax, where you feel safe. Because when something happens there, it's not just fear, it's violation. Story one. This happened about a year ago, and I still don't sleep the same way anymore. I live alone in a small house, nothing fancy, just a quiet place in a normal neighborhood. That night felt completely normal. I locked all the doors, checked the windows, turned off the lights, and went to bed around midnight. At some point I woke up, no idea why. It was one of those sudden wake-ups where your body just feels alert. I stayed still, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what pulled me out of sleep. That's when I heard it, a soft click from somewhere in the house. I held my breath, listened. Nothing, just silence. I told myself it was probably the house settling, old pipes, wood shifting, normal things. I turned onto my side trying to fall back asleep. And then, another sound, this time clearer. A door, opening, slowly, somewhere down the hallway. My heart started pounding. I sat up, listening harder. The hallway light was off, so my room was almost completely dark, but I could see the outline of my bedroom door, closed, just the way I left it. Then, footsteps, soft, careful, moving through the house. I froze. There was no way someone should be inside. I had locked everything, every door, every window. The footsteps got closer, then stopped, right outside my bedroom. I didn't move, didn't breathe. And then, my doorknob moved, slowly, like someone was testing it. My chest tightened, the handle turned slightly, but stopped, locked. A few seconds passed, then the footsteps moved away, fading back down the hallway. I stayed like that for what felt like forever. Eventually, I grabbed my phone and called the police. I whispered, barely able to get the words out. They arrived about 15 minutes later. Searched the house, found nothing. No signs of forced entry, no one inside. Everything looked normal. But the next morning, I found something. The back window, unlocked, slightly open, and on the floor beneath it, footprints leading into the house, but not out. Story two. This one happened when I was younger, still living with my parents. It was late summer and my parents had gone out for the night. I was home alone, just me and the TV. Everything felt normal until around 11 p.m. That's when I heard the first noise, a faint scraping sound coming from the kitchen. I muted the TV, listened. It stopped. I waited a few seconds. Then it started again. Slow, dragging, like something moving across the floor. I stood up, heart starting to race. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. I grabbed my phone and walked toward the kitchen. Each step felt heavier than the last. When I got there, everything looked normal. Nothing out of place. I let out a breath, turned around to go back to the living room. And that's when I saw it. The back door, wide open. I froze. I was sure it had been closed, locked. I stared at it for a few seconds, trying to process, and then I heard breathing. Behind me, close. Too close. I spun around. Nothing. But the breathing didn't stop. It was still there, right where I had been standing. I backed away, slowly, my entire body shaking. Then, a whisper, right next to my ear. "Don't move." I ran. I didn't think, didn't look back. I ran out the front door and didn't stop until I reached my neighbor's house. We called the police. They searched everything, found no one, no sign of anyone. But later, when I went back inside, I noticed something. The kitchen floor. There were marks, scratches, like something had been dragged in circles, right where I had been standing. Story three. This last one is the worst, because it didn't just happen once, it kept happening. I had just moved into a new apartment. Everything seemed fine at first, quiet building, good location, nothing unusual. But after the first week, things started to feel off. Small things. I'd leave something in one place and find it somewhere else. Doors I knew I closed would be slightly open. At first I blamed myself, figured I was just forgetting things. until one night. I woke up around 3 a.m. and immediately knew something was wrong. The air felt different, heavy. I sat up slowly, and that's when I heard it. Breathing, not mine. Slow, steady, coming from somewhere in the room. I didn't move, didn't even turn my head. I just listened, trying to figure out where it was coming from. And then I felt it, a slight shift in the mattress, like someone had just moved right behind me. My entire body went cold. I wanted to turn around, but I couldn't. Every instinct told me not to. The breathing got closer, right near my ear, and then a whisper. So quiet I almost didn't hear it. "I've been here." I jumped out of bed and ran, turned on every light in the apartment. Checked every room. Nothing. No one. Everything looked normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling. So the next day, I installed a small camera in my room, just to be sure. That night, I barely slept. The next morning, I checked the footage. At first, nothing, just me sleeping. Then, around 2:47 a.m., the door to my room slowly opened. No one visible, but it opened. By itself, I watched frozen. And then the mattress shifted, slightly, like someone was sitting down, right next to me. I turned in my sleep, and for a split second, the camera caught something. A shape, distorted, almost blending into the darkness, sitting on the bed, facing me, watching. I moved out a week later. Didn't take anything with me except what I absolutely needed. Because some things don't break in. They're already inside, waiting for you to notice.